Hello and welcome to the Daily Azeroth, Episode 2. Today I am finally joined by my cousin. I don't know how to pronounce your character name, so you feel free and mention that out.
Well, I kind of forgot it too, so just go ahead and say he's the Orc Shaman.
He's the Orc Shaman. I'm Bully Maze, because I like Billy Maze. And I sell some pretty damn good products, so on we go. Today's video, we're going to mention the new expansion that's coming out. We got Panderia, Mist of Panderia. We've got a new race, Pandaren, new class monk, new area, Panderia. Not trying to rhyme, that is actually what I wrote down. We got a level 90 cap, new PvE scenarios, a new pet system, a new talent system, and they're going to renew the Horde versus Alliance battles, if you will.
Yeah, and we got a whole new content here of Panderia. It's on the back of a turtle. It's going to have the starting area of the new race Pandarens, whatever you want to call them for now. And it looks to be just this new series of content. It's going to be a lot bigger than it may seem, but again, we're not going to have it really be too exciting like, you know, your Outland and Northrend. It's just going to be one little area. It's going to be branched off like usual. Nothing too different by Blizzard's work. But in this episode, we're talking about what we'd like to see and what we would not like to see in this expansion. So it could be things we miss about the old expansions, or things that we completely think Blizzard should take into an idea that has never been seen in newer expansions. So let me ask you off the bat, what would you like to see in this future expansion or future expansions?
Well, I'd like to see more spells all throughout the leveling process. For example, in Lich King days, although this is irrelevant to current times, but in Lich King days, when you were a mage, you pretty much got Fireball, then at level 4 you got Frostbolt, level 6 you got Fire Blast, and that was pretty much your rotation until you got to level 64, which was Arcane Blast. And I know that they kind of revamped that with the talent trees giving you a spell at level 10, but I really wish that my rotation was given to me as I go. I don't want to have my entire rotation by level 30 and then finally at level 83 I get a move that, you know, really polishes the rotation, or, you know, I don't want to have a rotation set when I'm at level 30 and then as I get spells it almost seems like a hindrance to use them in my rotation, but, you know, at end game rating you actually need them. There was a comment that I saw for an example that when I mentioned in yesterday's video about the ranking system, I got a comment yesterday that mentioned how it would be nice to see if you got, you know, if you, for example, you would have like 10 ranks of a spell, and I used the example heal yesterday, so I'll follow through with that today. If you were to have 10 ranks every 5 to 10 levels, and you would be able to choose what you want to upgrade, whether it be haste, spell power, you know, healing done, damage over time, healing over time. And I think that would be a very good idea if they did it right. And the comment that I got was very thorough, very well completed thought, and I thought that was a hugely great example. And that's really what I want to see in the next expansion. What I really want to see, though, is Karazhan redone. That was my favorite place. They did Nax and Lich King. They've done the Zulls and Cataclysm. I want to see Karazhan, whatever. I always say Karazhan.
I think they will do that, actually. That was a very popular one back in Burning Crusade, and I think Karazhan will be probably taken into consideration when this new expansion comes out, and there hits a really dull moment in time. I bet they come back to it, even though lore-wise it doesn't really make sense, but they've...
Neither did Naxxramas.
That happened before with other stuff, yeah. And I agree with your classes thing. Each class, while it levels, has that certain amount of spells you learn throughout a daily period, and by at least on every character, by at least level 30 you have a whole rotation down that you almost master until level 60 or whatever, and then you finally master the class once you get that final move. But it just seems like 30 through 60 is such a 6 through level 80 each, I don't know, 5 to 10 levels, a new move to add to your rotation to make it a little bit more interesting and not just yeah, it's a learning process, but you don't want to just learn it right away and have everything right there for you.
Yeah, I think that's a strong point. So,
Um,
so let me ask, what do you want to see in Panderia?
Me, I would love to see world events be brought back.
Yeah,
And by world events, I mean they didn't have a ton back in the original World of Warcraft before any expansions came out. They didn't have a ton. But what I would like to see is world encounters where even maybe both factions could fight side by side. And there's things in the PvE world. You don't have to go into a dungeon or a raid or be a certain max level. There's just something out. Let's say there's a big dragon aspect in Ashara, and everybody's just gathering there. You got your general chat is going crazy, trade chat's going crazy in the cities, and everybody's making their way there. It's something new, exciting. People don't expect to log in and see something like that.
and
I
let me
wish there was
just
more of that because it keeps the game a little bit more entertaining and a little bit more mysterious. You never know what you're really going to find, and I really miss that aspect of the game.
let me just hop in here and say this. I just thought about this point too, so I wanna hear your input on this. When people raid, Alliance and Horde alike, they fight the same boss. For example, Horde and Alliance went through all the content through ICC to get to Lich King. Why couldn't they? You mentioned bringing the two sides together. Every raid has the same boss on both sides. So maybe they could do something in that aspect?
Theoretically, yes, but first and foremost, guilds are probably the number one biggest thing you can do in a successful raid, and guilds obviously are faction only. If you wanted to bring a really good guild from one faction, a really good guild from another faction, and can join them, that would be cool, but I don't think Blizzard really sees that happening because the Horde and Alliance have worked together to solve a PvE problem. But in terms of joining together in an actual raid, I think something would be hard to do on Blizzard's part.
And I agree, but I'm just saying because that would tie in with the world events. Because I was just bringing up the point that they do both fight the same boss. So in a world event situation, that would be great to see the two sides working together. That
would be something very interesting to see. I don't know how I would react to that. I don't know if I would not like it because I am a Horde right now and I just don't really want to work with the Alliance. I want to work with my Horde guys because that's who I really am strong with and I really care about, and I don't all too much want to work with the Alliance. I want to kind of say, Horde pride, we got this kill first and we didn't need your help.
Right.
And obviously there's things that we would love to see. I mean, we can go on and on that there's things we want to see in a new expansion to keep the game interesting, but there's definitely things you do not want to see that Blizzard has done a couple times that you're just really not sure about until you really start playing the game and seeing what it's like. But name something you do not want to see in the future expansion.
I don't want to see people sitting in Orgrimmar. And yes, the auction houses in Orgrimmar and Valor Point, Justice Point gears in Orgrimmar and Honor gears in Orgrimmar. But I'm sick of logging in. We're on Stonewall US, so if you want to join our guild, we have the guild, the Daily Azeroth on Stonewall US. I hate having to, like when I was getting the guild SIGs. There was one person in Everson Woods, there were 8 people in Valley Trials, and there were 10,000 people, obviously exaggerating, but 10,000 people in Orgrimmar. Like, I'm sick of just everybody being in Orgrimmar, being level 85. There's very few people actually out questing these days, and I do think that the Dungeon Finder is a very good idea, but I just don't think that there's just too much sitting around and waiting. Like, I just wish that there was more involvement, more enactment, more people doing stuff, less people just sitting on trade chat bitching about stuff.
That's where it goes back to what I was saying about world events. It's something that when you're not feeling like raiding or doing a dungeon, instead of just PvP, you can have other choices. You can go out looking for some world events because there should always be one going on. Or, they should add just some different little things, even if it's a world event that doesn't even mean that much to you. Just go have fun with it, experience something new. They should really put a lot more work into having the downtime be solved, because there is a ton of people in just Orgrimmar and Stormwind alone. And the other thing is that I do wish, with your point, is that they would visit the other cities more. You have Stormwind and Orgrimmar completely packed full, but then you go to Darnassus, Ironforge, and you go to Thunder Bluff, Silvermoon City, and you notice like maybe 2 or 3 people there at a time, and you know those guys are just usually a Tauren in Thunder Bluff or a Blood Elf in Silvermoon because they're really into the lore and story, so they are there. But nobody's really there for anything exciting. I mean, you go to Orgrimmar because there's people there, and you'll continue to do that because it's interaction. You have everything there. It's one-stop shopping, and that's cool. But I would love to see people go to the other main cities and just have them packed full. And they can make world events in those cities too. Have a big dragon aspect, what have you, attacking Darnassus once, and have everyone on their lines go hang there for once, or do something like that.
Yeah, because most of my characters when Cataclysm came out were in Silvermoon, and I had to move them all to Orgrimmar, and it was tedious to wait for that freaking Zeppelin every character, but just one of those things where you just go, why, Blizzard, why?
Yeah. Something I would not like to see in the Mists of Panderia especially is when they're bringing out their new talent system. Their new talent system is all about choice. Now you, at certain levels, can either choose this spell, or this spell, and theoretically, each character, each player is going to be different than another, because one person might say they want this, another person might say they want this. But what I really hope is that they do that well. What I do not want to see is just making it another cookie-cutter build. If you want pure DPS, I don't want to see a simple, well, you have to choose this, you have to choose this, you have to choose this. I want to see, if you choose this, you're going to get about the same DPS. If you just prefer to have it be a dot, great. If you prefer it to be a minimal but still pretty effective, just instant cast spell, whatever. Yeah. I want to see more variety and choice, but have no negative repercussions for choosing that. I'm
sick of going on Wowhead and being like, okay, what's the best holy or discipline priest healing tree? I want to be more personalized. That I could make a tree that would fit my play style rather than making a tree that would get the job done. I mean, I want to get the job done, but I want to make it enjoyable for myself and more personable to how I play the game.
And just another note, we have the new race of the Panderan. I'm just going to throw this in here. They are going to be on both factions.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know any of the lore behind Panderia or what have you, and I know that I was reading some forums and people were arguing that it was too much like Kung Fu Panda, but it predated Kung Fu Panda by about 8 years. So as close as they made it seem to Kung Fu Panda, which is a really weird reference, I don't know. I don't know if I'm okay with it being on both factions because it really means nothing to me.
How would you feel doing PvP and all of a sudden you just have just a ton of Panderan come out? They're the only new race in this expansion, and they're both faction. There's going to be a ton of them. How would you feel about just being paired up with like 8 of them on your team, 8 of them on the other team?
I'd hate that. Just like when Cataclysm came out, I was stuck with a bunch of goblins, and when BC came out, I was stuck with a bunch of blood elves. But everybody needs to get it out of their system and do what they gotta do.
It'll eventually die down, of course. I'm just saying that I don't think I really like it that they're on both factions. I think it's kind of a cool storyline aspect because you can have your choice and not just be, I have to join this faction. But at the same time, it's going to double the popularity between them, and they might get kind of old pretty fast. So I don't even know if I plan on making one anymore because of that reason. But plus, I wanted your take on the.
I'm already happy with
factions. That's the first time they're introducing that.
Yeah, I'm already happy with what I got too. So we're getting into 14 minutes here, so we should wrap this up.
Alrighty.
So
that's about all I can. All I can say.
That is Mists of Panderia. How we feel about it. So hope you enjoyed this, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave us your feedback. We need some topics for tomorrow and upcoming videos. Let us know. Thanks for watching.